You are listening to the Booktrospective Podcast, a podcast for all types of books. And even though we read all types of books across all different types of genres, we want to give a disclaimer. Many of our books and a lot of our content sometimes is intended for mature audiences. And we don't believe in censorship, but we do want our listeners to have the opportunity to decide if our episode or podcast is good for them. So, with that, let's get into the episode. Hey, it's Dominique.
And Keely.
And you are listening to Booktrospective. And this week we're talking about Onyx Storm. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is being recorded. I don't even know. This episode comes out in March. It's not that far from March, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
It's February 10th when we're recording this because I finished it 2 days ago. Keely finished it 2 weeks ago. And yeah, we can't wait to talk about it. So Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. NKG is attending. She's fine. While Keely does that, we'll do the blurb and everything and general summary. We're doing our new format. So this will kind of be like, I think it'll be blended. Like I'm better now at just like highlighting things versus like detailed notes. So I don't know how long this episode will be, but yeah, no, I was going through finishing and I was just randomly texting Keely things. Like I was like, my Shayla. Oh my gosh. I'm so unwell. Like I want to be done with this book, but I also don't want to be done with this book. I want to like live inside of this book. But I like am in grief and I want to move on, but I also don't want to be done with it. Like I don't this is my favorite book of the series.
At this point, I'm like, I so wish that I would have just waited to start the series until it was finished.
And now she's like, okay, so we get Fourth Wing. Was that last year? Yeah. So we get Fourth Wing in like April or whatever. And then was it last year or was it the year before? Now I'm kind of curious. See, it all blurs together. I feel like this one took a little bit longer. It was 23.
This was a little longer between. Oh, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it was 23. So we got Fourth Wing, but the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame were like back to back. Like they were 6 months. And then we had this, which was like a little over a year. And then now she's talking about, I made a post. She's talking about, she's writing another book before this. She's going to write a contemporary. No one asked for that. I mean, that's great, you know, but like, I don't even know how you don't have this done. I could not have this planned out and be like, but not planned out.
Right.
Like it's like not, I would have to have all of the books done. And then she's like, I told my kids I was going to spend the summer with them. Forget those kids. Like, hold on.
You have us to worry about.
I know. You have like millions of other babies and children.
I'm just saying, God forbid something happened to me and I die before these last 2 books are released. I will be haunting her.
Maybe heaven is missing.
Maybe heaven has a library.
It has to. It has to. Okay, so we'll do our normal. So, Keely, do you have the blurb?
I do. After nearly 18 months at Basgiath War College, Violence. Okay, I'm starting over. After nearly 18 months at Basgiath War College, Violet Sorrengail knows there's no more time for lessons, no more time for uncertainty, because the battle has truly begun, and with enemies closing in from outside their walls and within their ranks, it's impossible to know who to trust. Now Violet must journey beyond the failing Oretian wards to seek allies from unfamiliar lands to stand with Navarre. The trip will test every bit of her wit, luck, and strength, but she will do anything to save what she loves, her dragons, her family, her home, and him. Even if it means keeping a secret so big it could destroy everything. They need an army, they need power, they need magic, and they need one thing only Violet can find, the truth. But a storm is coming, and not everyone can survive its wrath. Dun, dun, dun.
If you could describe this book in one word, what would you say?
I would say hell.
Oh, that's funny. I'm going to say love or proposal. Like, I'm in love. I'm in love.
Ooh.
So like quick facts for anyone who's listening to this and has not read this book and has we're not to the spoiler part yet, but I mean this book released January 21st, 2025. Rebecca Yarros. This is book 3 of the Empyrean series, which is to have 5 books. It's considered high fantasy, romantasy. So it was 544 pages, which I think it's less than Iron Flame. Is this shorter than Iron Flame?
I feel like it may be.
I don't know if it's shorter or if I just enjoyed it more. Like I don't. It was long.
I
I thought it was.
definitely enjoyed it more.
I loved this book, but
I feel like a lot of it was kind of it was I feel a little more not that it was more plot driven or more character driven, but compared to Iron Flame, I think there was more character development and character
yeah,
driven aspects than Iron Flame.
yeah. I mean, there is like I also hated the miscommunication in Iron Flame, which I mean I get
Yeah.
it, but like this just is so great. So um general summary, I don't these are always hard to do. This is the Prisoner of Azkaban of the Harry Potter series. I mean it is, it's book for a book 3 though, like well, I don't know, Prisoner of Azkaban's really good too. But for a book 3, like I don't know, it's really good. So we open up God, I don't even remember what happens in this book now. It's like now that I'm thinking about it. We open up right where we end. Like we end in Zayden's
Mhm.
POV in Iron Flame, and we open right up with Violet seeing that same scene. And I guess this is spoilers for anybody who this is not our official spoiler warning, but this is spoilers if you haven't read the series because I have to do a
Mhm.
summary. Zayden is Venom he channeled from the source to save Beskayeth and Violet. And so Violet spends half of this book in extreme denial. Me too, girl. And then is like, she's just trying to save her man. And Zayden spends this entire book loving her out loud. He is in love with this girl, and I cannot like he loves her in every way. And I've seen several people put it, and I'm like to tears. Like it was like he didn't know like when his last time was, so he like made sure to tell her every time. I just like I'm so sick. I'm so sick. So we get several things in this book. There's tons of new characters. Also, something they do in this book, they use their last names a lot. I do not know anyone's last name besides Violet and
Yeah.
Zayden. So when they do that, I'm like, who are they talking about? So I definitely will reread this. Um, Also, Andarna, we know now she is the 7th dragon den, and so they are on a search to find her. We do lots of island hopping. We get some familial what's that word? What's the word when you like when you like meet somebody again? Like I can't even
Like
think of the word.
reunification?
Reunification, yeah, something like that. Yeah, reunion. Yeah, that's what I was trying. I was like, what is that word? Yeah, we get that. Lots of challenges. But like there is some heartbreak. I wouldn't say it's probably not what I expected more. Um,
Yeah.
it was unexpected, but I did expect it in a different way.
Mhm.
Um, and while I think the ending was semi predictable, like I didn't see it how it would go like it was going to like come out differently. Like it still leaves you on like an extreme cliffhanger. So I'm sure that there are tons of triggers for this book. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Do you have the list?
Um, I have some. Uh, and there's a lot that people have listed, but I'm going to hit the hot topics on here, which are war, violence, death, sexual content, blood, injury, grief, murder, animal death, um, cursing, fire, gore, chronic illness, death of a parent, um, yeah,
Okay.
ableism,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's a decent list. There are just tons of triggers for this book. It's
yeah.
the whole series. There's no
It,
way
it's
around it.
it's a war.
It's a war book with
Yeah.
sex scenes. I don't. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and plug our spoiler because I'm ready to talk about it. So if you have not read this book, I'm so sorry. And you don't want to be spoiled, then pause here, come back later. So we're gonna get right into it. Also, like we have our new format. I kind of have those questions pulled up, like a mix of those, and also like going through like notes that we took, and then like or a recap at the end. Lots of theory. It's like, yeah. So just like general, like so our like new questions, like what were you like expectations versus reality?
So I honestly, which I'm not mad about, I was expecting more death than what we got. Um, Not mad at all that we didn't get
Yeah,
more, or I mean, not, I don't know, not as significant. I mean, there was not as many significant deaths
yeah,
as what I was expecting. That's what I was fearing. But so, I don't know. And I was expecting a little more tension. I feel like all of the tension and angst was kind of bundled up in the last like quarter of the book. Um, which I feel like the rest of it was just like more world building and very character driven. Um, but yeah.
yeah. I don't know that I even had expectations for it. I just thought it was going to be similar to Iron Flame, which I did. I enjoyed Iron Flame, but now like I can say like I didn't enjoy it as much in comparison, and I almost was like that's also part of like there were several reasons I like delayed reading it. Like one, sometimes when things are like sensational, it makes me not want to do it as much.
Same,
Like
same.
yeah, like I just and then like two, like Iron Flame was like it was so much but also like dragging along the way. And I didn't feel this at all. Like I just feel like I don't know, like I just really enjoyed this book. I don't have like bad notes about it. Like I don't have anything bad to say about it. So like jumping in to the actual book, um, like we immediately start out with Zayden blocking out Violet, which is often on like throughout the whole book. When he is feeling like he's channeling or going to, ice is like the thing. So it starts out with him being like very like chilled and things like that, all the way to him being like skating on ice. He's on the ice. And like at the end of Iron Flame, we don't know if Sorrengail broke her bond with him, but we find out very early on that she is not, she just won't talk to him. And Taryn immediately is like the dark one, the dark one, the dark one. Which I mean, like the theory is that Nate Olin, Taryn's previous writer, went venom, and so like he's gonna have even more like like no tolerance for that.
Animosity, yeah.
Yeah, Taryn has like no tolerance anyways, and then like you're hurting the two women that two of the three women that he loves. Yeah, yeah, like he's gonna have absolutely no tolerance. And Andarna like starts out a little more Tarnish, but that's because like, she
Mhm.
admires Taryn, but she also softens pretty quickly because she loves Violet and she doesn't want her to be alone in this. But Violet like follows him because he goes like we know at the end to talk to Jack Barlow, and Jack Barlow's like, yeah, you're screwed, like like whatever, you're stuck. So like the book starts out like my notes jump around. I don't like do them in detail. I mean, the plan at the beginning of this book is overarching to find Andarna's family, and Violet's plan is to save Zayden, which the only people that know are Bodhi, Garrick, and Imogen. And so they have like started like making this plan. Some of the Best Gaia students have been like seeking out Venin. Also, there's like this rift between like the students who stayed at Best Gaia's versus the Eurasian group who like left and then came back, even though I don't understand it because they literally saved you, but like get over it. And so also like we have the Griffin Flyers there. They do not want them there, but also the Griffin Flyers cannot use their powers because of the wards at Best Gaia. So like Violet like comes out and finds like this group. or this, what's the girl's name? Aura? I don't know. I did not put her, I don't care. Because I was like, I'm not writing your name down. I don't care. But anyways, this girl is like, she's like a wing leader now because when they left and Dane left with them, she kind of took his spot. But she's like, yeah, I'm gonna like, she wants to fight somebody. And like, Dane's like, okay, like, I'm gonna fight her or whatever. But the girl has like fire wielding power. And Dane's, obviously, his signet is not physical. Also, I don't know why she would do this to us, but like, why do we have to like Dane Atos? I am like sick and like also in love with Dane. Like, I love a wounded, moody, broody boy. I just love that so much. And almost every single one of them in this book is like every single one of them, besides Riddick. And I love Riddick, but he's not moody and broody. But like a tarnished, hurt Dane, like I can fix you. So Violet steps up because Violet's like, okay, like I'm the most powerful, like, cause she is. And she like, she basically like takes this, like kind of takes the girl down without using her power and like basically gives a big speech and is like, get your crap together. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Also, they what do they call them? It's not called the assembly. They have a name. The seminary? Some
The I
I
got
don't
it
know what
right
it's
here.
called. They have an official name. It's like an assembly.
The scenarium?
Cenarium, yes. So they are meeting and they're basically like the king's council of like all the dukes of all like the places or whatever. And they do not want to allow poor Emil like to send people over. They don't really care about the Griffin Riders. But like Violet's also trying to like barter with them and like put together this team to go search for Andarna's family. And like they're basically like, yeah, you're a cadet, which she is a cadet, but like it is her dragon. And
Yeah.
like they want to put like Professor Grady, which is this is interesting because like I didn't dislike Professor Grady in book
Yeah.
two. Like he seemed cool, and he doesn't not seem cool in this book. He just seems dumb. Um, and yeah, like I don't know. It's
It's kind
weird.
of a little more arrogant than I remember. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
a little confused about it because I was like, I thought we were cool with Professor Grady.
yeah. Like that seems to be everyone's sentiment. Like he was just like he obviously was over like RSC and like torture training and stuff, but like he was not bearish. Like he was not
Right.
bad,
So
and now
yeah, I was confused. I was like, I thought we weren't like one way or the other. I thought we were cool.
yeah.
And then like there's a lot of like, oh my God, it's Professor Grady now in the book. And I'm like,
I know. Like I was like, what's
oh,
that shift? Like I don't know that. Yeah, that shifted fast. Okay, so basically, Mira shows up because Mira's been in Eurasia, and Felix was like her Violet's mentor when she was there. He has like made her a new conduit for her power because that's how she's able to control it and do like single strike versus just like blasting stuff. But they also have figured out a way to like use a rune to allow the Griffin Riders to use their powers. And she basically has to like they won't listen to them, so her like they break Sawyer out, Sawyer who lost his leg because a
I
wyvern
love
like bit it
Sawyer.
off. I know, like I'm so happy with like where that went because I did
Yeah.
not want to see him like give up. But yeah, so like they take him and they like rework the wards, and Dane's dad, I don't remember what his first name is, but Daddy Atos comes up because he is now like in charge of Best Guy. Like and he is a hater first and foremost, but not in a good way. And he like accuses Violet of treason. Like he's like, you altered the wars because her patch was there, and so she's called to this assembly, but she did it knowing that she did it at night, and the next morning she knew because of Zayden that he was going to be reinstated as the Duke of Tyrandor. So he's not just Lieutenant Ryerson; he's the 16th Duke of Tyrandor. And also, like, when he was reinstated to his position, they signed like a treaty basically with Navarre and all this saying that anyone who left to go to Eurasia and came back, so that includes Violet, would be forgiven of anything they did. So she did it the night before, knowing that they were gonna sign this in the morning, and he's like in her mind, like, I freaking love you, like you're like the like just everything.
Mhm.
So like she was like, because like basically like one of what's her name, Queen Mariah, she's from Poramil too. There, it's all over the place. She comes in there and she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it seems like you guys have already like signed, like you can't punish her, you've already like forgiven her without like knowing anything about it. She outsmarted you, which Violet is known to do.
Yep.
So yeah. Um, I put Queen of Whatever likes Violet. So Violet also makes a deal with Queen Mariah and also is it the King of Navarre about the library thing? Who is that with? This is where it gets a little hazy for me because she's trying to like basically like she's trying to get all these like historical texts like they did in the archives to find out like how did they defeat the Venom and is there also a cure for Zayden? Like that is her whole reason for being. So
Yeah.
Queen Mariah is like I don't remember if it's the King of Navarre or if it's Kat's uncle, um, which I can't remember his name right now either. I did not like. I'm like that
I think
guy.
it's Viscount Takaris, was it?
Takaris, that's what his name is. Takaris, yes, Kat's uncle. So like she's making like deals like with everyone basically. So of course, like Daddy Atos is like pissed off because she outsmarted them. So he sends them to like for a punishment to Samara, which okay. And while they're there, they find out that Marin, who is best friends with Kat, so they're all for poor meal. Her like the village where her parents went is attacked by Venom, and like they're like, okay, we have to go save them, and all of the guards and stuff at Samara, like we literally don't have enough troops, like we can't. So they're like, so the quest squad, which is I'm already gonna call them that, like this the squad is gonna like they're like, okay, well we're gonna go, but they are flying and like literally they get caught in a tornado, and her and Taryn like crash, and she also like loses her connection with him for a little bit. Like she thinks that Taryn is dead for a moment, but then she's like, okay, well I'm good. So like he's out for a little bit, um, and then she sees this silver-haired Venom, who she also saw in the very beginning because she was trying to break Jack Barlow out of his cell when they realized at the beginning of the book that the Venom were actually hiding in the school as scribes. And Zayden is actually able to sense them because he is part Venom. So she sees this silver hair Venom again, which is like also like she's never seen anyone with silver hair again. She also has this weird tattoo like on her forehead, and we learned that this is Theophany, and I'm like, I saw someone call her Cleopatra, and I just, I can't stop thinking about it. It's like- so she comes up to her and she's like, oh my gosh, she's a lightning wielder. Like she's, because essentially all of the signets that develop in the writers are counters to Venom. So she's like, oh, like I'm her counter. She's a lightning wielder. And Theophany basically says, like, you should choose me over. Theophany is a maven, and she's a maven, which is like the top rank. So there's maven, there's sage, then there's asum, and then there's like initiate, which Zayden is considered an initiate because he hasn't like fully gone like permanent red eye or whatever. Then like Jack Barlow is an asum because he's gone full channel, but he's not in power or anything. And then there's sage, and then maven. So Theophany's like very old, and like Venom are like basically immortal. So she's like, hey, like I want you to be mine because like they kind of claim initiates or whatever. But she just like leaves. And then like Violet, when she fell, like literally like popped her knee out of place. Blech. Um
Oh my god. This
hurt
scene,
her
I was like,
bones.
ugh.
Yeah, she's like, it's facing the wrong way. Garrick literally just shows up out of nowhere. And we
Mhm.
learn that Garrick has a second signet. He is a distance walker. Like he can just he's like the Flash. I don't know. Like, he just shows up, and yeah, yeah, yeah. So he shows up, and he's like, basically, like Zayden's freaking out, and he also knows that she either has a second signet or like that she will have a second signet. Like there's like, I feel like the second signet talk was so like casually brushed over. It was like it was no big deal. I feel like it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm like no. And also before Theophany leaves, because she leaves her, she says that she calls Violet a leash, and she says that Garrick is a walker, which is like how we get to all of that. So Zayden, like she gets back, Zayden is like ethereally pissed, like he's like beyond recognition, like never been this angry, and she's like what is going on? And like that's what like they're like I've never seen him lose control like that. Like he is so angry. But he like immediately just like starts kissing her, but he's like, I cannot lose control with you. And anytime like they do anything like sexy time-ish, they lose control. Like that's kind of their thing. But he does admit, like he confirms, like, yes, Garrick is a distance walker. And she's like, hey, I thought I saw Liam wield ice. And he's like, you did. So like we have that confirmed that Liam had a second
Yeah, that
signet.
was like,
Yeah.
oh, that
He
dirty
was ice
dog
water.
her
I
because she's
know.
like, "Oh, it was a
Editing
mistake.
error.
It was an error." No,
No.
you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, yeah. So he was ice water, and essentially lots of the rebellion kids have second signets because the dragons are seeking them out specifically because of their ancestors. And we know that one or two things can happen. They can go mad, or they can be very powerful if they bond a dragon from a previous um line of their descendancy, like especially if it's like direct, like grandfather to grandchild. Like it gets a little less if it's like cousin aunt kind of thing, but the
Mhm.
dragons are like seeking them out basically, which a lot of people have talked about, like, is this why the dragons haven't been bonding? Like they're waiting on these rebellion kids because that's who they want to bond to. So it's not for the relic that they have like burned into them, it's because of the dragons they're bonding to. So Zeta also admits like he went to like a battle like on the border, and he did slip a little bit. So he is struggling to like gain control of like not channeling. So Violet decides to go see Jack. She goes with Imogen, and he's basically like dying. So he's to the point now that if he does not channel, he will die no matter like what he eats or drinks. And he's drained everything in the cell that he's in. He's in the same cell that she was in when Barish tortured her. And so she offers him something to channel, and she's like, this will keep you alive for another week, and she plans on keep coming back. And she like asks him a question knowing that like she knows the answer to that, so like knowing if he's lying, and then asks him other questions, and he basically is like, there's no cure because we don't want to be cured, like there's no cure. And something else happens. I just had a thought and now I can't remember what it was. Oh, she mentions how, so Imogen, because he's like, what's going to keep me from telling everyone that Zayden's a villain? And it's because Imogen has been wiping his mind, and Zayden has been coming down here because he's like, I'll never break. And
Like,
she's like,
he is.
Zayden has been breaking you like over and over again, and you just don't remember it. Like, I love that. I love that so much. So then Jacinia is still around, but Jacinia, like, we know that Jacinia was on like the like honors track basically in the scribe quadrant. She get kicked out
Mhm.
because she was helping Erasha. She gets kicked out for that. So now she's assigned, which she gets kicked out, but like this doesn't seem like a punishment because she gets assigned to be like Violet's personal scribe for like this whole
Yeah.
journey and stuff. So I was like, okay, like I would prefer to be doing that. Like I'm like, okay,
Right.
like okay. And so then, okay, Zayden comes back because Daddy Atos is like, you don't need to be here. You're a lieutenant. Get the heck out of my school. Okay. So Zayden comes back because he's Professor Ryerson.
There are so many tropes in this one.
Oh, I'm unwell. I'm so unwell. And immediately I thought what Violet thought. She was like, oh, he's a professor. Oh, he's a professor. And he's
Yeah.
like, so what? And she's like, you're a professor. So they bring him back because they want them to fight. Like, you know, in all the other instances when they battled or whatever, like sparring or whatever, they were not supposed to use their signet. But they are bringing Zayden to like specifically teach them how to use their signets in battle. But she knows, like, I don't know, section whatever, the codex, she cannot date her professor, like, even though they have a pre existing relationship. So he's like, okay, well, we're just gonna ask for like, he's like, I already know, like, I'm gonna ask for an exception, but he's like, fuck the codex. Like, he's like, I don't care about the codex. He was like, what does he say? What does he say about the codex? I need to go and see because it's in here somewhere. I took notes. He said something like, "When have I ever cared about the codex or whatever? Like, I live for you," or something like that. I don't know, something beautiful and romantic. And so he's like, "I'm gonna ask," but before they can even ask, he was going to ask Melgren. Daddy Atos comes in and he's like, "Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make sure that people are watching you at all times, and if you even breathe her way, I'm going to have you removed." I hate him.
Yeah.
He sucks. So she also knows that they need to get her dad's research. We do learn her dad's name. It is Asher, and he took
Yeah.
her mom's last name.
Yeah. I was like, because when I was reading the things, I was like, wait. This is the same person.
Yeah.
Yep.
After Sorga, he took Violet's mom's last name, which is may or may not be a big deal.
I think that maybe it has no, well, it depends on when he I don't know.
The grandma
Because we
situation.
learned that yeah,
Mhm. I think they were already
but I
married
don't
then,
know. I
though.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just like
Mhm.
a confident man. And so she's like, the research is first of all, this whole thing about the research, and it was right there. It was literally not far. Why did you not go get that last book? I mean, I get it, plot, but like the research is in her mom's apartment, which up
Right.
until 2 minutes ago you could have gotten into at any point in time because the only people that can get in is the person whose apartment it is and their direct bloodline. Now her
Yep.
mom is dead, and now Dane is in charge. Dane's dad is in charge, so now only Dane and his dad can get in. Who, by the way, his dad also hates Dane. He like does not. He's like, I don't have a son. Like he's like, yeah. So Dane's like, okay, like whatever. Like I'm gonna get it. So she goes back to talking about the dragons, and they're like, we should search north. And she's like, everything in my body is like, we should search the southern isles. And Donna doesn't even like cold. Like, why
Right.
would her dragons be in the snow in the north? Like, she doesn't even like that. And they're like not listening to her. And then Zayden has a very hot class where they're outside and they're like in this bubble, and he like basically is like he pulls every single one of them to the mat and shuts their asses up. That one boy with the metal wielding, he was like, yeah, like you didn't even touch your weapons. He literally was like, like he doesn't even. Violet's like he stands there. He has his back to the guy. The guy thinks he's about to do anything, and Zayden literally goes, drops him. I said, there's no way I would not like be feral every single day. I don't know how this girl is standing on 2 feet. Like I cannot. And then she goes down there and he like blacks it out. He's like, find me, like use the bond and find me. Can't. I can't. I cannot. I cannot. Okay. Um. So then Dane gets like there is no big. I thought it was gonna be a big deal. There's no big deal about Dane getting this like research. It was in the study,
Yeah.
whatever. Like he gets it unless if something comes up
No
like the
problem.
next book. Like there was no issue, and he gives it to her. But it has a lock on it, and it has a lock, and it's like a 6 code lock. And if you don't answer it correctly, it will like spill ink all over the book. So she has one shot. We also meet Prince. Is it Howden? Holden? Howden. Howden.
Holden.
Halden.
Holden, I think.
Halden. I wanted to like him for 2 seconds, and then he was like,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I missed this. Apparently, like him and Violet dated, and I okay.
Mhm.
So like Violet has, I don't want to say she has very good taste. Like
That's
yes and
why
no.
she and Auric seem so close because
And I just assumed it was because like her mom is a general and they
was
were
in a
around a
position of
lot.
power, yeah.
Yeah, but so obviously Ark is still like a missing prince. Like Cam Ark is missing. They are looking for him. No one knows he's here. So not only is Halden here, and he's an arrogant ass who literally has
Yes.
the worst the worst temper, like the temper of like a 2-year old. Like he also will find his brother. So they're like, we have to hide him. He and Violet broke up because they dated and she found him having sex with one of his teachers. And he never cared about her. But he comes in and he like is like, I'm here to like bring like support, and he's gonna like sit on the council and stuff like that. But he's like, I'm actually supporting the fact that you should look south and not north. Like you should be happy to see me. And he's like, but I think we should patch things up or whatever. Like, like maybe we should like have dinner. And he's sitting next to her and he like goes to reach, and Zayden literally like blasts his ass with shadows. Like I loved it. And he's like, I don't know if this is there because I didn't put like my notes in order, but he basically is like something about like thinking about him, and Zayden's like 3 things. Like number one, he's like, I hate you. Number two, like she has never thought about you since she set eyes on me. Like she's not thinking about you. No one is thinking about you, Halden. Like please be so for real. So they go through trying to figure out. I can't remember what the note said, but the note basically from her dad said that the answer to the key was something about like your first love or like love or
First
something.
love, yeah.
Yeah. So they're like So they're going through, and this is when they're like Ark is like looking at Violet like, is it your first love? Is it Halden? Like, because that's 6 letters. They're also like, people are like, okay, well, who is everyone's first love? And they're like thinking about Brennan, and everyone, no one has still come out and said that Brennan and Naolan were like a thing, but that is also 6 letters. But it ends up being, because Violet's like, my dad only cared about my mom, and my mom loved her dragon, and his name is Imser, which was 6 letters, and that ends up being the answer. And her dad, like, basically, like, it's a bunch of research, but he basically tells her, like, in the book, like, if me and your mom are dead, like, you need to go to, what is it, Corridon? I think that's how you say it. Like, you need to, like, seek out this thing, and there's, like, a merchant she needs to find, and he, like, gives her, like, more clues, but not tons of answers. And he says, if Dane starts acting like his dad, abandon him. Like, leave him. And so they go out on their first little mission because who is it? I think the first place they want to go is Devarelli. Devarelli is an island, and the only way that they will even like pretend that they're going to talk to Navarre is if they bring them this really old relic. So her Zayden, does Zayden go on this? It's like her,
Yeah.
Grady, Zayden, the girl from like the girl that has the
Oh, looking
firepower.
for the yeah.
Yeah, Mira goes.
So it's
Um,
yeah.
there's like, I don't know
I
if Zayden
don't think
goes.
Zayden went on this one.
No, it's her and Mira. I think because Mira's like the only person that she can trust,
Mhm.
and like it's Grady and his whole like team.
Did Zayden go on this one?
I don't know. Why do I feel like I remember him being there? I
I'm
feel like
like,
I remember him being there. I don't know. I feel like I
I
remember him
can't
being there,
remember. I
but
know Mira was for sure, but I feel
because
like
she's the one who got the relic, whatever the thing
I
was.
feel like Zayden may have said something down the bond to her though, is why I'm
Something happened. Yeah, he's like in the scene, but
like
I
I
don't
think
know if
he
he's there.
yeah. I
Well,
think
so
he
they
warned her
go.
that Aura was gonna do something.
Maybe. I don't know. But so they go, and Aura, the idiot, the girl, she like her firepower. She freaks out and she sets this entire like village or whatever on fire, including Professor Grady. It doesn't say that he dies, right? He does die.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, after I got ahead of that, I was like, did he die? So he dies. And she gets snatched up by a wyvern. So she's dead too. But Mira actually is able to like get the.
So Zayden was there,
Okay. I was like, I remember him being in the
but
scene.
they had wished that they brought Cat because it was
Oh, to
Cat knew
control.
exactly where it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they get Mira ends up getting the thing. It's like burnt a little bit or whatever, but she gets it and they make it back and they're like, yeah. So since Grady and them messed up so bad, like Violet's like, I'm going to pick my own quest squad. Like I want to pick my people. And but when she gets back there, they're actually like, no, we're gonna replace Grady and we want to search Erasure. No, like what are we searching Erasure for? And Violet tells Howden. Is that his name? I keep wanting to say Holden.
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 Halden. I want to say
Holden.
Holden so bad. Halden. And I
Holden.
typed it right. I just want to say Holden. Halden. So Violet tells Halden, like, Halden's the one who's like, I want to search Erasure. That's really just because he is jealous about Zayden. That is
Yeah.
only about Zayden. That has nothing to do with anything else. And Violet's like, no, and I'm gonna pick my own crew. So they get their crew together, and Riddick is like, so Riddick carried so hard in this book. Riddick, I
He
love you.
did.
He
He
was
did.
amazing. I love. Have you seen all the like the TikToks where it's like him with the like speaker playing like Fetty Wap, and they're like when Riddick is like up at 6 a.m. on his dragon. What's his dragon's name?
Atrum.
Atra. I love them, and they're the same age. They're both idiots.
Yeah. Their
So Riddick.
relationship is hilarious. I love it.
Yes. So it's Violet Zayden, Halden,
Mhm.
Holden,
Holden.
Halden, Halden, Violet Zayden, Halden, Cat,
Uh-huh.
Mira. Maybe Rick doesn't go on the. No, Rick does go on this first one. Riddick,
Yeah.
that Drake guy. Does he go on the first one? I think
I
everyone
feel
went on
like
the
there
first
was
one, but
I
except
feel
for they
like there
swap
were
out.
two writers. Or two, yeah. I feel
Did
like there were
Traeger go on
two
that first one?
flyers. Does who?
Traeger, does he go on that first one? Yeah, I don't know. There's a
I
lot.
don't think so. I think it may have just been I think it may have been Drake, the one that she trusts.
Yes, and that's Kat's cousin. So they're actually gonna go to Deverelli first, to see like how things go, and then they're supposed to come back or whatever. So they have to fly to whatever the city is that Kat is from. I don't all these freaking cities. It's so much. They fly to her uncle's mansion, whatever. The same place where they like he had the venom in the box last book or whatever. So
Yeah.
they get there. I love Satan. I do. And they're like exhausted. First of all, Halden is in a basket. He's in a basket because he's not a rider. So the only one he can get there is the Griffin flying him in this like basket. And so it's him and like one of his guards, which is a female, and like they get there, they're like all exhausted, so they get to like Kat's uncle's, and they're like trying to figure out rooms. And Violet's like, "Oh my god, like I'm not gonna make it to the third floor to a room." And they like on the first floor where Zayden's room is, and Zayden's like, he starts picking with Holden, and Violet's like, "Why are you doing that?" And he's like, "Shut up." So he's like, "Why? What am I here? Like, in what authority?" He's like, "Like, obviously, like, we know you're a duke, like, whatever." He's like, "Okay, but like, professor?" He's like, "No, like, no, you're not here as a professor." He's like, "Okay," and he picks up Violet and takes her to his room because that's his woman. And now that he's not here as a professor, he can be with his woman. And I love that. I was like, I see where this is going. Violet, shut your
Yeah.
mouth. Shut your mouth. Be quiet. Shush. Let 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 Zaddy work. So they do that, and then like the next day, like they're going to like Deverelli, and like Halden says something. He's like, "Get in your basket." He actually Zayden says, "Scurry over to your basket." I know that I know Halden hates him so bad. I know he wants to be him so bad. But you're just like this little tiny little like arrogant prince who literally sucks. Like you just like you suck. Anyways, so then they get to Deverelli and there's no magic. There's no magic there. So like Atrum and Riddick, like Atrum is literally that's the one I sent to you when he's like, I'm just yelling at Riddick, and Riddick is like, it doesn't matter if you yell louder, I can't understand you because there's no magic. None of them can communicate with their dragons except for Violet. She can still talk to Taryn and Darna, which is so weird. But Zayden, like, and I was like,
And the
also
dragons can't even talk to each
the
other
dragons, yeah, they can't even talk to each other. I immediately also I'm
except
like
for
Violet.
Indarnet and Dan.
Violet, I'm like, Violet, I know that your priorities are in the right place because mine would not. Because I immediately was where Zayden was, where it was like, oh, there's no magic here. Priorities, we'll get to that. So they get there, and the king or whatever of Deverelli will only speak to royals, so he will only talk to Halden. So Halden goes, they like they go on their side quest because they're like, okay, cool, because that gives us time to go find this merchant that Violet's dad said. So they go and find her, and she basically like she has these like family members. They try to attack them, they take them down real fast. She has a ton of books for Violet. They're like, oh, great books. Which Mira gets mad because it specifically says that the books are for Violet. And the lady, like, she's older and she's like, the way that you're reacting right now is exactly why your dad left these to Violet and not you. Like, whatever. And I was like, Mira, please, like, please get over it. Like, please. Like, you have also like been in the spotlight for a very long time. Violet is like in like
Right.
20 months of like being anybody. Like, just chill out. So she like they get a bunch of books and um I don't know. Sloan didn't go on this mission. I don't even know why this note is here about Sloan hating her signet, which she does. I don't know if she was just thinking about that or what. So Mira really is not. Oh, I think that's when. Oh, no, I jumped ahead. Okay. So they get the books, and like that night, Zayden's like, there's no magic here. And we get a wonderful, sexy time, and they break a table, and I love that so very much. And then unfortunately, it's interrupted because Halden is being held captive by the King of Deverelli or whatever. So they're like, well, Zayden, you're like the next highest up that can go because you're a duke. So he goes and he brings Violet, and they're like, who is she? And he's like, my consort. She's like, right. I'm like, shut up and be the consort. Oh my god.
Right.
You don't always have to speak. Shut up. So they get in there. Literally, Halden was basically he sent his guard to steal back a bunch of artifacts because the thing is, supposedly, that they're there to like build a bridge between these isles. Like they haven't talked to them in centuries, and to like try to find Andarna's family and to try to get armies. But apparently, they've been talking to Navarre this whole time because Halden was trying to steal back artifacts that they gave to Deverelli in like exchange for something that wasn't really defined. I don't know what they've been doing for them. So they're like at a table. The king literally like stabs a knife in Halden's hand and takes his like this like plate and takes the top off, and it's his guard's head. And he has like these not panthers, what were they? Jaguars? Lions?
Yes.
Bears?
All white jaguars, I think.
Jaguars. They like come and they just have to, they're all sitting at the table and they just like start eating this lady's head and like, yeah. So like they're like trying to like, so he's like, the guy from Deverell is like, yeah, how to mess up. Like, I'm not doing anything with you. Zayden's like trying to talk. And then he's like, yeah, kill them all. Okay. So they start fighting and Violet is actually holding her own. Halden gets knocked out in like 10 seconds. But then she gets cut on the face, and Zayden looks at her and goes, they're all going to fucking die. Like he snaps and he like they're like fighting and he like grabs he finds her conduit, grabs it and like kisses her forehead and just like he like channels all the power and he snaps everyone's neck. I can't be mad. I can't be mad. I can't be mad. And so she's like, okay. She sends him to go because his eyes are red before Halden wakes up. The king's like, what happened? Because there's no magic here. Like, how did he do that? And she basically makes him sign like the agreement or whatever that they were there to get. So that works out in their favor. And she also, the reason she gets him to do it is because Andarna flies in and camouflages herself and then picks up one of his jaguars and like holds her in the mouth so she doesn't slobber on her or anything. And is like, my mouth, I'm going to start slobbering. I freaking loved it. Let's see. So then that's when they go back and they find out like Sloane's not training her signet because she hates her signet because she feels like she killed Violet's mom, which I mean she did, but like she sacrificed, she had to, like, you didn't just kill her, whatever. Mira also really is not talking to Violet after that whole thing, and she goes to see their grandma because apparently their dad's mom is around and well, but they don't talk to her. And Mira's like, well, she's the only family I have left, so I went to see her. So that's interesting. So they set out again on this official trip to search for the dragons. And Ark decides that he's going to go because they're like, yeah, Halden, like, you're going to get us killed. Like, you suck. So he comes out and he reveals himself. He's like, yeah, I'm here. What's up? What's good? And yeah, so Ark goes. And the first, they go to a bunch of islands. So they go to Umbriel, which is the island for the god Dune, which is, I
Mhm.
have notes. Dune is for
War.
war. And Violet sees that there are silver haired people here. And there's also a girl whose hair is exactly like hers. Like it grew out of her scalp and then decided to go silver on the end. So they're like, the only way that they would talk to them is if they fight them in combat. So they bring out, I literally, if you saw Game of Thrones, you would know what I'm talking about because it made me think of Game of Thrones, like this fight scene. But so there's like these two huge guys and this girl, and her like they like pick them, and so Zayden obviously is like, okay, well I'm up first, and there's no magic again. There's no magic. So he goes. They pick Dane, who was getting. Dane definitely earned his redemption arc. He was getting pummeled,
Yeah.
and Violet. And Violet ends up pinning the woman down and like yield, and she's like, no. She ends up saving Zayden, and then the woman ends up yielding, and come to find out she's the queen of the island. Yeah. And basically she says something to her about like her being dedicated to Dune. But then like as we get like those what's it called? Epigraphs, whatever at the beginning, like essentially is forbidden for at least in Navarre to dedicate your child to a god. Like they used to do that, and apparently the
Yeah.
islands still do that. So she's like, what? And also her lightning strikes while she's out there. But she's like, no, that wasn't me. Like that was just coincident. Come on now, Violet. Like, come on. Nothing is coincidence. Then they go to the next island, and that's not Zanal. I can't remember what this one is. This one is the one where we meet Zayden's mom. As soon as she came out and they were
Yeah.
describing her and they were like, well, her long dark hair, and I was like, this is Zayden's mom. This is Zayden's mom. And this, like, Zayden's like, he hates her. He's like, she left me on my 10th birthday. She fed me chocolate cake and then left in the night. She also is like married to like one of the three like head guys. It's like a council. And she has two boys. Like she has a whole nother family. But she's like, oh, please talk to me, Zayden, like trying to get Violet to let her talk to him. And then they go to dinner and the husband tries to poison them because the whole thing about this island is that they think they're very smart, they're very bright, and they want to outsmart them, and they're supposed to pass a test with their knowledge. But Violet was one step ahead of them, and she poisoned their tea, which is funny because someone highlighted, they were like, remember in book one and fourth wing when Zayden's like, you're not always going to have time to have tea with your opponent before like a battle or whatever, and she literally gave them tea, like she poisoned them. But unfortunately, Garrick, she poisoned his chocolate cake because they, and on top of that, they say that his mom had been hoarding chocolate. So she knew they were coming because the islands communicate. So she pretended like she didn't know that like this was Zayden. And then like she put on this whole show. But she did not know he was going to be poisoned or try to. But everyone like gets the hint except for Garrick, who is like Matildaing this cake. I just
Yeah.
see this scene from Matilda and I was like, he is eating this cake. He literally starts to die. They have to take over the whole house. Riddick gets stabbed and we think that he's a goner. Oh my God. Violet literally went through all of the emotions and he like,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. And he starts punching. He's like, I hate sewing. Because he's
I
like,
was
this
like,
is my
I
favorite
went
white
from like
jacket.
I went from fear, closing the book in fear, and then opening and reading that part and just dying of laughter.
Oh my gosh. He's like, this is my favorite flight jacket. Now I'm gonna have to sew it. I hate sewing. He's like punching the guy. So she ends up again outsmarting these people, and she's like, so you're like, they're like okay to die. Like everyone drank it, and his mom, the whole council. She's like, you're okay dying because you don't want people to know that I outsmarted you. So they end up like getting the antidote, and she ends up figuring out what the antidote is to Garrick and saving Garrick. So that all works out, and they're like, let's get the heck out of here. So then they go to Zanal and they worship Zanal.
Luck, I believe, right?
Yeah, I feel like the island and the god's name was the same, but it's the god of luck. And when they get there, they're like waiting out in this amphitheater, like waving at them. And Violet's like, I mean, how long have you been waiting here? And they're like, oh, I don't know. People just come out here every day and like wait. So they're excited to see them because on all the other islands, they're like, you fire breather demons and dragons and all this stuff. So they're like, okay, our test, every island has a test. They're like, you have to come in front of us and basically like draw a card and you have to be happy and thankful for whatever card you get. So it starts out like kind of cool. Zayden gets this like clear box or whatever and Riddick gets kisses on both cheeks. Dane gets slapped. He draws a hand card and they slap him. And when Riddick and Zayden are literally trying to like, because they cannot react, they cannot laugh, and they're like, be good, be cool, be cool. And then Dane had to say thank you after he got slapped. And then unfortunately, Traeger, who is one of the writers from Poor Mill, who Kat had finally like was like, okay, I'm gonna step away from the Zayden thing. I see this guy over here. Traeger has apparently liked her forever per Zayden. He pulls the arrow card, and I immediately knew. I was like, this is bad. And as soon as he turns around, he has an arrow through his heart, and Kat is
Yeah,
losing it. And they're like trying to lock her down, like, and basically like Drake like kind of like knocks her out because they all have, and then Violet has to go up there because Zayden's like, I would do this for you, but like you're the leader, you have to. She goes up there and she just says like, thank you. And then also his griffin dies because if they die, their griffin died.
yeah,
Um, yeah, like I mean, I wasn't emotionally attached to that character, but like, oh my gosh. But
yeah,
from this aisle, from all the other ones, they do get like 40,000 soldiers. So they and Kat's like, well, at least we got 40,000 soldiers out of it. Like she's like, I mean, she's heartbroken. It's ugh. I do like Kat. Like, I mean, ugh,
yeah,
but like, yeah, like I do like her. So they're like, we need to leave, and they're like, we need to bury them, and she wants to bury them not on this island because she's like, they'll probably dig up their bones and like experiment on them. So they decide to fly to some of these like, there's like these little islands that aren't inhabited. So they end up on one, and they all feel magic. They can all talk to their dragons, and they bury them. And Darna's sleeping, and basically they're like, we're gonna split up, and she sends Zayden with Garrick, and he's like, pissed, and she's like, I mean, only you and I can communicate. So like, if something happens, and Garrick's like, "You're with me today, honey boo boo." He's like, "I'll take good care of him." So they like all leave, and while Darna's sleeping, she's like resting next to her, and because Taryn flies off, and six oh, by the way, and Darna is called an irid for iridescent.
Yes.
I didn't mention that, but iridescent. They just materialize, and they basically have been watching them for a while, and they decide this is not their island. They just showed up here. And so, and Darna launches into like her whole life story for like 5 hours, telling this whole story. And they're basically like, yeah, you cannot come to our island. You failed our test. We left Andarna behind to see if mankind would be better. You're not. You abused her. And that, like, they're basically mad at Violet for the fact that Andarna, like, gave her her power when she was a baby, and like her wing is messed up, and like they like, yeah, we hate you guys. And then like they're about to leave, and then one, his name, I don't remember his name is because everyone wants to call him Leonard, and it's like Leotis or something like that. He like is like kind of like listening or whatever, but then Xaden shows up, and it's like his eyes go red for no reason because he didn't channel. And so I guess I can get to theories, but I'm going to mention a little bit. It's basically that they think that the venom specifically came from the Irids because they almost hate humans so much. It's almost like they want them to be wiped off. And it's almost like the venom are like a project from them to like get rid of mankind and like start fresh or something like that, because they live on an island. They don't live with humans. They don't bond with riders. They don't do any of that. And their magic is insane. We've already seen how Andarna can do stuff. Like they can speak directly to any human they want to, and they can block out things or they can do whatever they want. Like they're pure magic, they say. Like the dragons channel from the sky or whatever. The Irids just are magic. They just are.
Yeah.
So they leave, and like they basically call Zayden an abomination. So he's iced out. And Darna is like, oh my god, like she's devastated. So she goes, and Riddick is there, and he hears everything, and he now knows that Zayden is a venom, and he is pissed. He's pissed. So they go and talk, and like he's basically like, you know, like, one, you're not supposed to be keeping secrets from me, and then also he's like, where is the line, Violet? Like, when will you allow me to say that Xaden has gone too far? Because you obviously cannot draw that line for yourself. And she's like, when he hurts me. And they like argue a little bit, and her lightning strikes. And so they come out of wherever they were talking, and his hand is like on her shoulder. Xaden's waiting, and he's like, I know that like my hand suggests something happened, but if I remove my hand, it also suggests something happened. So like the lightning strike, and Xaden's like, the lightning strike wasn't big enough. Also, Riddick is our bi king. It's already been mentioned several times that he's hooked up with male and female like writers. But he like says, I think there's a time like earlier in the book where Garrick is fighting somebody, I don't know, and she's like, he says out loud, I don't know what, oh, it's Imogen, because Garrick and Imogen have like this thing, and he's like, God, just like fuck already. And Violet's like, you said that out loud. And he's like, oh my gosh. And she's like, she says, Garrick is gonna blow you off the mat. And he's like, I might like that. Oh, and he's always like, God, your boyfriend is hot. Like, he's like, your boyfriend is so hot. I love Riddick. I love
I do
him.
too.
I love him. Um, let's see. So also like Zayden is obviously getting worse because like, you know, his eyes are always onyx with gold flecks. They have been amber flecks for a while now. They do not go back to fully gold. Um I jumped ahead of my notes because I kind of can remember. Oh, they also say there is no cure. Like they're like, the cure is to like let everyone die, and then the venom run out of magic, and then so be it. Like that's the cure. And so, and they also like tell Indara like, you're not a real Irid. They're like, you're an Irid in like genetics. What? Like, so they go back, and let's see. So they when they get back to school, like, you know, Violet's like, well, the mission failed. Like, she feels like she failed, which they did get some, I mean, information out of it, and they did get some soldiers. Like, they did. Oh, also, Umbriel, the reason they didn't give them any soldiers is because they want dragon eggs. They're like, the only way that we want dragons. Even though they're like
Yeah.
anti-dragon, they want dragons. So, which makes her think of some uprising, the second uprising of Chrome something. I don't know. They talk about it a lot, and she thinks that was basically like them trying to steal dragon eggs. So They go back. They end up going to Eurasia, and what we learn is that the wards are failing like really fast. At the beginning of the book, Mira says maybe 6 months, but Xaden has been getting communication that like basically every night or every week, like wyverns are like flying in, like testing or whatever. So they get there, and Xaden does not. He does not come. But then she's in bed one night, and she literally like gets a knock at the door, and she's wearing. He sent her these like really cute sheer pajamas from when they were in Deverelli, and was like for when I can't be in your bed at night or when you can't be in my bed, something like that. And she like gets a knock at the door, and she's like, okay, like, let me put my robe on, and then she can sense it's him. And I was like, I can see this in my mind. She opens the door, and he's like, it's been raining, so his hair, like, he's like dripping wet. He's like, do you want me here? I'm like, oh my god, I cannot. I cannot. So we get another chair scene. We have a whole new chair scene. Everyone has been attempting to like act out this chair scene. He also like they do end up having sex this time, and he does not lose control. And his whole thing is, I was literally in the middle of a battle and I pulled myself out because I knew that he's on day like 73 of not channeling, and he said I knew if I channeled it would take me to day 0, which does not get me any closer to you. He literally like as they're doing this, he has like the swords like out. He's like, you literally in the middle of doing this can kill me, I will die happy, like this is fine. It's just I love them. So that all happens, that's great. And then that night Violet is having her nightmare that she always has, which is like she hears what she thinks is Andarna screaming. There is a sage. She wakes up, and Zayden's also having like a nightmare, so she wakes him up and they talk about it, and she realizes that she is in his dream, and that is her second signet. She dreamwalks. That is her second signet, because she's like talking about the hand, and he's like, because that's my hand. He's like, that's my dream. And she also did it earlier in the book. She went into what's her name? Marin's dream, about her parents. And so she runs to Marin's dream and is like, hey, do you have a picture of like your parents? Because she saw this whole like dream or whatever. And she like, that's her second signet. She is a dreamwalker. And she's like, why? And so she assumes it's because at first, because when Andarna was asleep for so long, she needed to talk to Andarna and she couldn't. But that what they're starting to think is that Berwin, is that his name? Berwin, the
I
sage.
think so.
I can't remember how they pronounce it. The sage who's after Xaden, he seems to also be a dreamwalker. And so that she might be the counter for that, because in the dreams, he like holds Xaden in these dreams. He's not just in the dream. So, they're talking to Marin, and then there's wyverns there. So they go out, they're going to battle, they're fighting, and before they go, Ark is like, you have to save the Temple of Dune, like you cannot let anything happen. That is like the key to everything. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, you're a first year, like get in line, like I'm not listening to you. So she goes, and she does end up having to save Dune, like they do. And actually what ends up happening is that one of the Irids, Leonard, he shows up, and he's the seventh dragon. He fires the Eurasian wards so that they are now protected. But something weird happens, because Theophany is like popping up throughout this whole book. Like she is after Violet. She is sending her letters. She is after her. And she realizes before they save the temple that the tattoo on her forehead is the same one she saw on that island of Umbriel, and that Theophany was a priestess for the Temple of Dune. And so she has like forsaken that. And it's mentioned several times that like Dune is like the most unforgiving of the gods. And so she can never step foot back into that temple. So Leonard, that's his name. His name is Leonard. He shows up, he saves them, but he says that Andarna needs to come with him. She needs to leave. And Andarna's like, Violet, like that's my human. Like we have a bond. He's like, break it. He's like, break it. You're an Irid. You can break the bond. He said, your bond is unnatural. The only reason he asked who bonds first, and she bonded Taryn first. And that's because the only way that her to have two dragons is for Andarna to step in and make her own bond. If she would have bonded Andarna first, Taryn never would have been able to bond her. It's because Andarna is an Irid. And he literally gets in their brains and like cuts it off. And Andarna flies away with him.
Yeah, it broke my heart. And I had like highlighted parts. I started crying when she said, "I love you, and I want you to feel complete. I want you happy and safe and thriving. I want you to live, even if it's not with me." And I'm like,
I was like, I texted Kaylee, I was like, Andarna, my shame. It literally is the Twilight it's the new moon scene. It's her when she sits in that chair and the seasons just fly by. Like that is emptiness, like grief, like a, a rider out there dragon is dead. And the only thing that keeps Violet alive, Taryn literally opens his self completely to her. Like she can hear every conversation he's having. She is like he's like he tells her, he says breathe. Like while she's there, like you have to breathe. She like bed rots for like days. It takes for Mira to finally come and like Mira's like, you have to get out of bed. You have to get out of bed. So she finally like does. She's like, Zayden's clothes are literally like growing into my skin. Like I have not moved. So she like goes to like get up. Brennan and Mira come in, and Brennan's like, "They're my sisters too." Like he's like, "Zayden, let me in this room," because they're at Erasure. So they're like bickering or whatever. She goes in the bathroom, and Zayden like bathes her. Oh, he loves her. He loves her. He loves her. And she comes out, and she hears what they're bickering about. Mira basically says that the reason that Violet's hair is that way is because their dad took her to Dune to dedicate her to Dune, or took her to Umbreon to dedicate her to Dune to save her because of how like sickly she is. And Brennan's like, no, like that's not real. That's not real. And they're like, yeah, yeah, it is. And Violet's like, yeah, like it has to be. Like there's no way. And they're basically like, mom's journals are missing months. Like there's a whole section in a journal where there's just months not, and their mom like journaled up until I don't know, she died. I don't know. And they're like, that was the summer that I guess Mira and Brennan went to their grandma's house, their dad's mom, and Violet was little, so she went with them. But Violet knows that this means that her dad took her. Her mom did not go because they had never seen dragons before. So where was Lilith? We don't know, but Asher is the one who took her to the island, and they did not accept her. And the reason she only has partial gray hair or silver hair is because they said that her fate was not decided, and essentially that her heart that beats within her or for her would essentially go venom. And so Zayden steps up because they're like, "Are you going to be like?" Mira's freaking out. Brennan already knows that Zayden is Venom because he tells her that when she first gets to Erasure, he says, I tried to mend him for a week and I could not mend him. We tried every single thing that we could think of. And so Zayden steps up and says, it's not her, it's me, the heart that beats for her. So Mira is like, what? Like she's ready to kill him. Like she's like, what? And then Brennan's like, but no, I know too. And so she's hurt because she's like, so everyone knew but me. So she's back to not speaking to them. So like they were practicing runes, like some days go by, and they basically get a message, which is in the form of Garrick. Also, I did not mention this throughout this whole book. A couple things have happened that I have not mentioned. One, Bodhi is also like around. He is Zayden's cousin, and he's being trained to be. He's the heir. He is the heir, and he is pissed about it. He does not want to be the heir to Tyrandor. Also, what's the boy's name? Lynx. There's a guy, and he manifests shadows, and Violet's
Yeah.
like, you're our shadow wielder, talking to Zayden, and he's like, no, magic knows. Like, he's here to counter me. And Zayden, like, talks him through it, and then he just, like, that's the moment you really can see Zayden, like, not give up, but, like, he just knows that there is, like, there's only forward. There is no back. There is no back. And that's what Bodhi basically tells him. He's like, you're so busy, like, writing your will, basically, and, like, putting pieces together. He's like, I don't want to be on the throne. You be on the throne. I don't want to be on the throne. So all of those things are happening, and Garrett comes in the middle of the night with his eye like swollen shut, and they were attacked by the Venom, and Theophany has Mira and Tiny, or however you say it, Hair Dragon's name. And they want Violet and the brother, which is a very vague thing. And so they're like, who's the brother? But what it is that the Venom refer to each other as like brother or sister. They're talking about Jack Barlow. They want Jack. So they make this plan. They're like, okay, well, we're going to have to go. But they're like, Violet, you have to pick one like course of action. You cannot kill Theophany, save Mira, and save all the people at wherever they're at. I can't remember what city they're in. They're at some city. And so they're like, she's like, I'm going to kill Theophany. So they go, and they are going to bring Jack, but they bring Bodhi because they're like, well, we can say like we misunderstood the message or whatever. So they go, and she's like, okay, we're here. Like, let Mira go. She slits Mira's throat. I was like, oh my gosh. So Mira collapses, and like the dragons like get in front of them so that they're trying to like stop it. Brennan is actually there. Also, while this is happening, Violet saw Arik fly south, and she's like, where is he going? He does not leave a battle. But then Sloane shows up. And she had seen Sloane and Dane flying too. And so they're like, what are you doing here? He's like, her ass. I love them. I love, what are we going to call them? Slain?
What's that?
Slain. I think Slain is good. There's also a moment like earlier where like Sloane was being feisty and he literally like when Sloane didn't want to train her signet, where he literally grabs her and he says, I don't coddle first years anymore. Train your signet. Yes, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Okay. Okay. I don't know. There's so many to choose from. I don't care. So anyways, they show up. Brennan is there. Brennan starts trying to save Mira, but he cannot. There's not enough power. So they're like, Sloane, you have to channel. And she's like, I cannot. And Violet's like, it's not the same as siphoning. You're going to channel. So Dane's like, channel me. He pulls up his sleeves, which he has those like gray marks from where Jack was trying to drain him as a venom. He says, eyes on me. It says some version of like, look at me, eyes up here, eyes on me. She says, first of all, she says, you should not be this powerful. Well, how powerful is he?
Right. I was like, what?
What kind of power? And she says, this is going to hurt. And he says, gods, don't I know it? Slain. Slain. So Bran is able to save her. And they're like, okay, we need to get her and Tiny out of here. So, like, even Taryn leaves, which he doesn't want to, he leaves. So then it's Bodhi and Violet. And Theophany shows up. And Bodhi, like, the plan was for Bodhi, because Bodhi's signet is he counter signets. So he's, like, trying to stop her. Also, Violet realizes Theophany is not a lightning wielder. She is a weather wielder. She is the opposite of her mom. Because I can't remember where it says it, but she knew Theophany and Lilith had encountered each other before. Or no, I think Lilith actually manifested in response to Theophany.
Yeah.
She says that Lilith was hiding from her behind those wards. So Bodhi it's not working. It's not working. So she's like, you need to get out of here. And he's like, no. And his dragon literally picks him up and takes him away. So he's pissed. So she's like starts like running from her or whatever. And they have this little scene. Taryn comes, swoops back in or whatever. They're doing okay. She's checking on Xaden. Xaden is doing okay. But things are going south. And I don't even remember at what part it is. So she gets brought down. Her and Taryn get brought down by Annette. And so do Xaden and Sorrengail. And then we start switching POVs. We get Rhee's POV. Rhee is very smart. Rhee and her dragon, like, they work very well together.
Yeah.
Rhee, I don't know. First of all, Rhee sees Riddick, which this is a questionable thing. I do not think Riddick is a venom. I don't know. People think this. Riddick shows Violet earlier in the book that he can freeze the water within something. He is a very strong ice wielder. He freezes an orange inside out. That is what he does to a wyvern. People think that he like siphoned or channeled from it. I think he just froze it because it cracks.
Yeah.
So Rhee sees that. Then we go to Imogen's POV.
Mm.
First of all, Imogen is in love with Garrick and she needs to tell him that. But Garrick knows, I think, and they like have little flirty moments throughout. Imogen sees Quinn die. She saves a bunch of people. Oh my god, it's so sad. She goes up to Quinn and she obviously like Imogen takes memories. She remembers when she met Quinn because they're like best friends. And the audio when it's like, hi, I'm Quinn, whatever. We should be best friends. I'm like, I'm gonna start crying. And she's like, Imogen's like, we're about to cross like this thing of death. And she's like, well, it'll be a short time or whatever. And then she's like
Make
calling
it a good one or something like that.
yes. And then Quinn calls her Jen. And she dies. Like, and I did not expect that, nor did I expect to be like so hurt by that. Like, that is so sad. That is so sad. I don't want to say like some people are like Imogen doesn't have anybody. I don't. It doesn't give me that. I mean, Imogen likes Xaden. Obviously, she's not with Xaden. She likes Garrick. They're not connected. I mean, she still has, but like Quinn was her best friend, and so Garrick finds them, and he's like, we have to go. He picks up her, who is also holding Quinn. He picks him. What kind of what is this? 6'4", I think they said Garrick was. Like, Also, Garrick is exhausted. He's been world walking like everywhere all
All
day.
over the
He's like
place.
close to burnout. Because he's like, I can't take you all the way back to Erasure. I won't make it. So then we go back to Violet. Violet is trying to get Taryn out of this net. And Theophany shows up and she's like, choose me, whatever. Love me. Pick
Mhm.
me. That's what Theophany's doing. And Xaden, we go to Zayden's POV. Zayden Zayden loses it. He loses it. But it's actually not for Violet. He loses it for Sorrengail because we learn a few things. One, we pretty much figured out that there was a rat because the Venom were everywhere that the group was. Panchek, who I don't even remember a lot about Panchek. I don't he like wants to be in charge of like he wants to be Milgren, I think. Like he wants to be that powerful. Panchek is the rat. He's there. The sage, Zayden Sage, Berwin, he's there and he kills a dragon with a dagger. Dragons cannot be killed with dagger, but it's an aloe dagger, so apparently the same thing that can kill the venom can kill the dragons. We don't know whose dragon this is. We know it's a green dragon. We assume it's Panchek's. People don't know if Panchek is venom or not. I didn't get the sense that he was venom.
I
I
didn't
don't think
either.
I got the sense that he just wants to be in power and kind of like have like he trusted them to be like bad guys on the same side, and that didn't work out in his favor because Berwin's like I gave you power basically. There's also like a brown dragon that is like fatally wounded, they say. And the, let's see. Bodhi has a brown dragon. Somebody else. Zayden is like, I have to save Sigel. He's like my new brother. So somebody has turned and he says that this person has watched him struggle for the last 5 months. Why would you do this? So he channels and he pulls and he pulls. He says he pulls all the way until the last thing left of him is his love for Violet. And he blacks out everything. He kills everything. Wyvern are flying from the skies. Violet is like reaching for him. She feels nothing, but she knows it goes dark. She's like, he's powerful, but he's not this powerful. And Sigel's like, please do not do this for me. But he doesn't. So then we go to the last part, and Zayden is like, after all of that, he's like, we need to get to her. Sigel says, I don't know basically if she will or whatever. He tells Sigel that she needs to convince Taryn and that she promised. He never says names in here. There's lots of ambiguity. He says she promised. And Sigel says, well, whatever our fate is, basically will be just like whatever her decision is. So then we jump back to Violet. Violet wakes up in front of, I'm assuming, her house, their house in Erasia. Brennan comes out and is like, Violet, where have you been? And she's like, what? Like, the last thing she knew, I skipped the big part because she kills Theophany. Auric sends her a message, and we learn that Auric Signet. Auric has not manifested throughout this whole book. They are worried about him. The whole time he has. Auric Signet is precognition. He can see, not like Melgren, who can only see battles. He can see whatever. We don't know exactly what he saw, but the reason he flew off and had Sloane behind him is because he sends Sloane back with a piece of Dune's temple because that is the way to kill Theophany. And that is what Violet does. She ends up stabbing her with a piece of Dune's temple, which because she disgraced Dune, Theophany can never be in the temple, be a part of the temple. And so it kills her. So that's the last thing that Violet remembers. She wakes up and Brennan's like, where have you been? You've been gone for 12 hours. And they're like, her arms must be broken. He's like, oh my gosh, Violet, which people think that her hair is now completely silver too. But what she notices is that she's a big old rock on her hand, and it has the green stone that looks like the stone from the Sword of Erasia, which she noted earlier. Zayden gets this Sword of Erasia back from the king or whatever, and he doesn't feel deserving of it because he's part Venom. But she notices that there is a stone missing from like the hilt of it. So I don't know if like when does Zayden have this do this?
Right, right.
And she pulls out, or she has a letter, and Brennan reads it. He's like, Ryerson is missing. They are already accusing him. There are 6 dragon eggs missing. There are elders that are dead. There are dragons dead. There are 4 riders missing. And Zayden like leaves her a message and says, take it. It's yours now. Don't, or like he says, don't look for me. It's yours now. Which people don't think is, he's talking about Tyrandor because he always referred to Tyrandor as she and not it. And she realizes that she is married. They got married. And she's like, why do I not remember anything? She turns to Imogen. Imogen, who was there, and says, I have not seen him in the like since yesterday. And she says, what did you do to me? And Imogen says, what you asked me to do. Acknowledgements.
Yep.
There's so much that's not covered. And that still took me an hour and 20 minutes. Like, that's insane. That's insane. So I have so many thoughts. I have so many things. I don't know where to start. Do you want to start?
Well,
Yeah.
before we start with theories, I just want to say that I love Andorna and her little snarkiness,
Oh, and
and
Undonna showed back up. I forgot that at the
she
very
did,
end. And Donna shows back up. She shows up.
which I will bring that up in just a moment.
Okay.
But um there was just two quotes from Andorna that I was like, I love this. I love this dragon. Um Trying to find the right ones. When she said in first chapter, she said your wings won't or um it's when Taryn is getting on her about, flying and stuff, and she mocks him. Your wings won't hold the weight of this ice, and yet yours miraculously carry the burden of your ego. And I'm like, oh, get it, Andor. And then another quote that I really liked was when she said, "Rebel is so outdated. We prefer the term revolutionary." And I'm like, yes. Yes.
Yes.
I'm just going through all the quotes that I really liked.
That's what Zayden said when he was like, "We live by the codex," and he said, "I live by you." I'm jealous of the armor that holds you when I can't. He's not my boyfriend. Agreed. We're far past those terms.
Oh, the when she was in there with Jack and he was trying to get to her with like the whole pain and the Liam thing, and she said, "Do you really think this is the only room where I've felt tormented? Pain isn't new to me, Jack. She's an old friend I spend most of my days with. So I don't mind if she sings to you. Honestly, it doesn't even look like the same chamber with how you've redecorated it. It's a little monochromatic for me."
I love Andarna. I was heartbroken. I'm going through notes and I forgot. I forgot Zayden's mom trying to make him marry Kat. I can't believe I forgot that. They're literally at dinner and she's like, well, that make because we know that Zayden's mom was like a contract. That's why she left. It was just a
Yeah.
contract she fulfilled and she left. So she's like, you could just marry Kat, like that's powerful, and you could have an heir. And Zayden's like, okay. And Violet's like, what? Everybody's like, what are you talking about? Zayden's like, yeah, draft it up. And they're like, 3 years, 4 years. He's like, a lifetime. And he said, and her name for the record is Violet Sorrengail with two R's. He is like such a boss. And Darna literally like when she left, I couldn't believe that. Like I just and so there are like so many thoughts about that. Like so she was gone for 10 days. I don't think that she would have it took them they were gone for 3 weeks when they went on their trip. So it's like, where did she go? And I don't know
Yeah.
that Andonna broke her bond with Violet. I think that he just stepped in
I
and
don't think so.
yeah, I don't think
Because if she gave her the dream walking
right,
signet, she still was able to do that after
right.
Andarna left.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know where she went or what happened or how far or whatever, but I don't think she made it all the way there.
Yeah.
Other like quotes from Zayden, I forgot this one too. I don't remember which aisle it was. They were asking him about his loyalty, and he's like, "My loyalty." They're like, "Are you loyal to Navarre or Tyrandor?" He's like, "I'm loyal to Violet first, then Tyrandor, then Navarre." Specifically, when Violet is in residence, like, oh my god, love like this is not real.
Oh, what other quotes? Oh, I had another quote from Andarna that I'm trying to find.
I love when they're like, she's like, "Can I eat a turtle?" And he's like, Taryn's like, "No, the shell will get stuck in your teeth, and I do not want to smell your breath." And it's like I love them. Taryn and Darna, they are such like just curmudgeon old man and little 16-year-old Andarna. Like she's just yes.
Oh, they were talking about wanting to search Erasha, and Violet said, "You do not speak. Not to me. As far as I'm concerned, you have the credibility of a drunkard and the integrity of a rat." I was like, "Hey, get it."
I, I love Andarna. Like she's just need we need her. Her and Riddick. We need the comedic relief from them too.
Okay, on to theories.
Okay.
Who do you think was the brother?
I think it's Bodhi.
I think it's Garrick.
I was gonna say people think it is. I don't know. I feel like Bodhi is obvious though, so I that's the only thing that like keeps me from thinking it. I know Garrick was like on the like bridge of burnout. Bodhi was just so like Bodhi like does not like being Zayden second, but also does not have an identity without being Zayden second, it seems like. And so I don't know. I think do they both have brown dragons? I think they both
Um,
have brown dragons. Like there's a brown dragon down, so that's fatally wounded. So there's that. Um,
my reasoning for thinking that it's
Garrick.
Garrick is because hold on, let me find it. One, um Rebecca said to pay attention to who is missing at
I
the end.
know, I know.
And also, where is
Ark is
it?
also missing at the end.
I have to find Imogen's point of view. Okay. Just kind of his parting thoughts when they Garrick and Imogen part. Um and I don't know if I'm maybe reading too much into it, but in her POV, she says, "I noticed the circles beneath his beautiful eyes, the unusual pallor of his complexion. He's exhausted, blah, blah, blah." And talks about the landing beneath them losing color. And as he walks one last time. And then when they leave, he's talking about I can't walk again. Even if I made it to Erasha, I'd never be strong enough to get back. So I better find some way to do something and tell every rider within the walls to get here and disarm. It's the only way we're living through this. And then he leaves. So I don't know. She says, "What?" I lower my arms. Garrick is missing too.
So the theory with the eggs is that they took the eggs to the Isles. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
who else would be able to do that but Garrick. It's been 12 hours. I don't know if that's enough time for him to recharge. I don't know. I don't know. It could be neither one of them. Arik is also missing. Arik is missing. I don't think it's him though, because
I don't think so
I
either.
don't think his brother's going to end up being. That leads me into the next theory is that people think that he's going to die because he said, we don't know how long he's had precognition. He said, "I will fight for my country and I will die. And my brother will be a terrible king," and all these things. Like he said
No,
all.
no.
And that hurts me so bad. Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm gonna be surprised. I don't know. I don't know who it could be. Um, yeah. Other theories. So Dane is powerful. Violet doesn't have her memories. Do we think that Dane can pull back memories?
Ooh.
Like what?
I
How
I
powerful? Like,
feel like Violet is going to have to at some point in the book get those memories back. In the
yeah.
series get those memories back. So,
The two theories I've heard is that
I
one about
mean,
Dane, or that she will somehow walk into to Zayden's dreams and he will dream their wedding.
I saw a theory that I was kind of like, hmm. um, that Brennan did actually die. I don't know if you saw this one, but a theory that Brennan did die and Naolan turned Venom to
Bring him back.
save Brennan, and somehow making Brennan a maid Venom, but not like, since he's never
You know,
channeled, that he's not like, which their dad knew about, which is what drew him to researching Venom, and why he was so adamant that Violet only trust Mira.
there is a lot of like, there is a lot of speculation around Brennan. Like Brennan, obviously, like I don't know. They're like, well, he can't channel because his eyes weren't red, and she didn't see it, and she sees him. But I mean, I don't know. There's that. Brennan also has that rune in his hand, which
Mhm.
when Sloane siphon channels whatever Dane and Brennan for Mira, it doesn't leave a mark. And she assumed that the mark in his hand was due to whatever Naolan did. So yeah, so we don't know. But Brennan just there people just do still believe that Brennan is a betrayer, like that he is a betrayer of some sort, or that he has like some connection to Naolan that will result in him choosing their side if he has not already. So I don't know. That is on my list. Um, Also, I already talked about that one. Did the Eris create the venom? I could see it. Also, Zayden mentions in his POV how his bond with his sage is unnatural, similar into the of which how Andarna's is unnatural with Violet. And it's
Mhm.
almost like he cannot control anything about that. So I don't know. They are very similar in that way. And then Andarna, Sorrengail, and Taryn. Sorrengail does not seem to be leaving Zayden. She does not seem angry. And I don't know if that's because he saved her. I don't know. Um but when Violet wakes up, they said that Taryn is asleep because he has to recover. And Darna says that. And she's like, recover from what? He was just fine. So everyone is speculating that Indarna broke their bond. And that is
Oh.
heartbreaking. Yeah, they're thinking that Indarna broke the bond between Sorrengail and Taryn because Sorrengail is with Zayden.
Mm.
That hurts my heart, and I want them to get it back. I don't know how. In my mind, at the end of the series, that everyone is happy. This is having a happy ending. So I
Right.
don't know, but I will say I don't know. There's no way that Taryn can die. I just,
Right.
I just don't think that there is. I just don't think there is. I don't think that Violet would live. I know that she has two dragons, and I don't think what happened with Andarna, one, we know her bond wasn't broken, but even I don't think in that way would have killed her. I do think of a dragon dying will impact her, especially because
Right.
her and Taryn's bond is like the regular traditional bond. It's not
Right.
whatever. Yeah, but Rebecca did say that in the fourth book there are going to be significant deaths, which Taryn is a contender. Riddick is a contender because he had such character arc and movement in this book. Ree is also a contender. Arik, but I just don't see Arik. There has to be a king. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going. I feel like I don't think it's Mira because we just had that. I don't think it's
Yeah.
anybody that has been close. I don't think it's Sawyer. Like I don't think it's that, but I don't know.
Mm.
Other theories I have. So I don't know. I don't have a feeling about this one way or another. The random items from Zelda. So Zayden gets that box. Violet gets a compass that doesn't work. Everyone thinks it's going to be Pirates of the Caribbean and it's going to lead her to Zayden. I don't know. Like, it does feel like corny and cliche. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could see more of that box having something to it than that compass. I don't know. I don't have a like feeling one way or the other about it.
I do have to say, when I did read that part, I did have a, maybe not so much that the Pirates of the Caribbean like thing, but that maybe the compass wasn't broken and it was just not a traditional compass.
Right.
Um, but
Lead to.
yeah, I don't know.
Um, so a big
I did like
one.
broccoli though.
Broccoli is okay. So I didn't mention him because I was like that was a small one, but Drake, who is Cat's cousin, gets a cat, Broccoli, who was an orange cat, and so Mira and Drake. I don't know how you want to Drura. I don't know. I like to put names together. They are also like, obviously, we're shipping them, but she's like, why not carrot? Like, it's orange. And I agree because he's like, well, because like no one likes broccoli, but like it's good for you. And so that's why he like names the cat broccoli. Broccoli is fine. Broccoli is in Corridon with Drake, safe from the venom. But so now we have a cat on the quest team. So there's that. Um, so there is a big thing like throughout the whole book they talk about the powerful six, which we know is seven because there's seven dragons and like how the first war and all that stuff happened. And so they're always talking about how like we haven't had the like most powerful signets that have walked amongst each other. And also like this book was so like god heavy. So I like took notes. Okay, so there's seven gods, seven dragons, seven riders. That will be the ending. Who are going to be those seven? So first up, we have Hedion, which that island was called Hedonis. That's the island where Zalen's mom was. They like worship intelligence. They have green dragons. So we know our green dragons are Ree and Mira. Do I think that either one of their powers are like extremely uncommon and like or anything? Like I don't know. So I don't know. It could be either one of them.
I feel like if that were the case, I feel like it would probably lean more towards Ree because of how heavily they've kind of in this book how highly they've talked about
Yeah.
her.
And her power has grown. I don't know that Mira's might be where it needs to be. Hers grew because she pulled like this bone out of Taryn's leg. Like her
Yeah.
power has grown immensely. So I don't know either one of those. I guess it could be. Then we have the orange dragons who represent Zanal, which is the island with the luck. And
Look.
our orange dragon is Imogen. Imogen, who also has a second signet, and I didn't mention that. She is an earth builder, and they mentioned at the very beginning of the book that we have not had an earth builder in centuries. She turned like her shield or whatever to stone. She turns it to stone.
Yeah.
Like so she has a second signet and she has two badass signets. Like she's well on her way. So I'm good with Imogen. Blue represents Dune. Dune is like characterized by being ruthless, which we know that's why Sorrengail's Blue Dragon, and we know that's why she
Mhm.
picked Xaden. The issue here is will Xaden be in the top? He is now a Venom. Will he
Right.
be that? Or we have Ark. Ark also has a Blue Dragon. I don't know. Ark doesn't really give me ruthless, but maybe we just haven't seen that yet. I don't know. Black represents so there's not seven islands. So black they like the one I saw tied it to Besgaiath, tied it to Malik because they like heavily like recognize Malik, which is the god of death. It also represents
Mhm.
like just like cunning and like killing. Obviously, we have Taryn and Violet. Like that's what we have them.
Yeah.
And then red, quick to anger, but a very loyal person. Is like the island's called Loyal. They didn't make it there. Our two red dragons are Dane and Sloan. Dane, I don't feel like is quick to anger. Sloan is, but loyalty, I could see in either one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're both very powerful signets. And I mean, Sloan said he was powerful. Why are you this powerful? Sloan hasn't even
Right.
played with hers. And so we don't, I mean, that's a very powerful signet to have. I don't know. And then Brown, they tied to just the continent, which is Amari, who is just like the queen of the gods. And brown dragons are like unknown. There's not much known about them. Our brown dragons are, I think, Riddick and Garrick. I don't know. Also, I didn't mention now that Zayden's a villain, they have a Shadow Wielder. If they have Bodhi, they have a counter signet on the Venom side. Like, I don't know how you win. Like, I don't know that that's fair. So maybe it's not Bodhi because I don't know that there's a way to beat that. I
Right.
don't know that there's a way to beat that. Um, there is a theory going around that Violet's pregnant. I do not want that. I do not believe that that is it. She says
I
she's
don't think so
nauseous a
either.
lot. I think that's just Rebecca representing the disability. I'm not gonna. We don't have time for that. Like, there's literally they just got married. No. Put that away.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And then the last one is about Xaden. What happened in those 12 hours? So some people believe that Violet fully dedicated herself to Dune. That's why people think that her hair is silver completely now. And by dedicating herself to Dune, because it's mentioned in the book that there's only two gods that require lifetime dedication. Dune is one of them. Somehow, in doing so, I can't remember the exact theory, that she has Xaden's soul. She has, because he says it so many times throughout the book. You have my soul, you have my soul, you have my soul, you have my soul. At the end, he says, you have it. What is it? We don't think he's talking about Tyrandor. Um, some people think like, and I don't think this is a little Harry Potter for me. I don't think his soul's in the ring. Like I don't think there's anything like that. But I don't know. Like I don't know. Does she have like a piece of him? I don't know. And they also think that they think that she dedicated herself to Dune. He dedicated himself to Malik. Dune is the like God of War. Obviously, Malik is in charge of souls. And there's people keep bringing up the whole Liam thing. Like, why was Violet able to see Liam? And she even said during that, like, Malik does not offer favors. Like, he doesn't niceties. He doesn't do that. And Xaden, obviously, like becoming a Venin is like you're losing pieces of your soul. They are dying. They are going to Malik. I don't know. Thoughts, so many thoughts. Or maybe it's reverse. I don't know. Something in there. Something, some kind of dedication. And also the Dune was the only place that they could have gotten married because when they save the temple, the priestess at Dune says that she owes Xaden a favor. And so he's like, I know someone owes me a favor. So that's the only person that could have married them. Um, I I believe I don't know. There people are torn. They're like, did she wipe her memories because she was sad or because she doesn't want to know? I think it's mostly because she doesn't want to know or doesn't want to be able to be interrogated
Yeah,
to know. Yeah, I think she's going to be heartbroken. I don't care. I mean, even if she removed her memories, well, now she knows again that she lost them. Like, I don't think that that was going to do anything. She's going to be
right.
heartbroken, but she's now also the Duchess of Tyrandor. I think that it's because they now think that it's Zayden. I don't think that Zayden killed the elders and took the dragon eggs. I don't think that was him. I think that it's one of the other missing. I think that was a plan. I also think that him and Ark have had a plan for a very long time because when they're on one of the islands, I think it's when they're on Deverelli and they're talking about killing Halden, and he's like, I have complicated whatever with his other brother. I think Ark has had his signet for a very long time, and I think that him and Zayden worked together for a very, very long time. I don't know how far his precognition goes. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what this next book is. I think we're gonna have Zayden back at the end of the next book. I don't know how. Like I feel like at the end of the next book we'll have Zayden back, and then book 5 will be like we're getting rid of the villain. I don't think that Zayden's dying.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's happening. I think whoever the brother is going to die. Whoever that is going to die. Um, yeah, no, we're getting a happy ending. I don't think that we're gonna get out of this like with a no. I think we're getting out of this with our main. I think they're gonna be solid. I think there are gonna be lots of other death and issues. I think we're gonna have Taryn and Darna, Sagael, Zayden, Violet. I think that little unit. I think that's solid. One way or the other. I don't know. I don't think Violet's going Venom.
Mm-mm.
If I live in Venom, I mean they all might as well go Venom. I don't think there's any coming back from that. I don't. They
No.
are already losing so hard. I don't know. I wonder though too. Zayden was still able to resist. Like we get all of our knowledge from Jack Barlow. And like people are like the Venom don't feel, they don't feel, they don't feel. But the Alphany did kind of feel like she felt a way about the fact that Dune did not want her there. Like she still harbors whatever that is. And I don't know. I don't know that Zayden's not gonna still be able to love her. Like I think we were getting information from Jack Barlow. This is Jack Barlow. First of all,
Yeah,
he's an idiot and
right.
he's new. Like I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I think that Zayden can still love her. I think he can. I don't think that that's true because Theophany had feelings. They like to pretend like they don't care about anything, but she was upset about. She was like,
Mhm.
"Do you know what it feels like to never be allowed back or whatever she was trying to say?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you care about that. You have something, and you still feels that." So I don't know. I don't think that Zayden's just like lost. I don't know. I don't know. I loved it. 10 out of 10.
So angry that she left us with that, but
Oh, that was heart-wrenching, and knowing that we're gonna have to wait,
yeah.
a very, very long time. Like, a very, very long time. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to go back to, I guess, there's so many standout characters. We're almost at 2 hours, so we can like be wrapping it up. But like, I don't know, who's your favorite character?
I don't know. I feel like Riddick really pulled through. I
He
mean,
did.
I love Riddick the past 2 books too, but he was top of his game
Yeah, I
this
love
book.
Riddick. If
Yeah.
I'm gonna always pick Zayden, so like I'm gonna remove him. He also is book boyfriend of the year. I don't think that I'm gonna read one other book that tops that. I don't know. Like this entire book, like I said, was just a love profession to Violet. Like he literally dropped. Like he showed it in front of everyone else. They like he was no longer Harbor like trying to hold that back, and I don't think that anything can top this. I don't know how she tops it in the next one. I keep seeing all these people too. They're like that first line when he goes, "Hello, wife." I'm gonna die. I'm going to die if he says that. Like all of the like Rebecca loves like a reverse. So like I don't know, like or there's nowhere that you could go that I couldn't find you, Zayden, or something like all of those. I can't wait for those. But like, yeah, I have to remove Zayden because he's book boyfriend of the year. So I think after that, I do really like Riddick. I don't know. I yeah, he carried. He was all the comedic relief. Like he was very good. I still love
But then
Tanner.
also serious when he needed to be.
Yes, and when
Uh,
he's like, "You guys think I'm stupid because I make jokes," and he's like,
yes.
"I read the same books that you do. Like I'm in the same classes that you are. Like I'm not an idiot." And I love that. I love that. I yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of these other ones I feel like we've kind of like talked about them. I just yeah, I don't have any notes. I did 5 star. I don't you 4.5 starred it. I 5 starred it. um I love this book. Like I can't. I need to move on with my life, and I can't. But this is definitely my favorite. So it goes this, then Forest Wing, then Iron Flame for me. That redemption, like the Dane Atos redemption. You made me like Dane Atos. Like not even you made me simp for Dane Atos. Daddy Atos? What is going on here? He is so broody. He is so broken. They're like Sloane lets him touch her, like because now he like cannot. He's like the what's the girl's name in like X-Men? Like he can't touch, and like Sloane
Mhm.
like lets him. But it's so beautiful though because her signet is also a touch signet. Like ah, they're yeah they're cute. I like that one. I like that pairing. I like that a lot. I thought she was gonna end up with Arik actually, but then like yeah I like that. I like that a lot. I want to see more of that. Maybe we'll get some POVs from them. We still don't know a lot about his dad. His dad is on the table.
Yeah.
I don't think that his dad is Venom though. I just think he is an evil, evil man. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think he's Venom. Um, yeah. So that was a lot of thoughts. I'm I know KG. I'm unwell. This book has altered my everything. It's just
Yeah.
it's ruined me in a good way. Um, okay. I don't even know what the next book is after this one because we're so out of order. Are there reviews up?
Right. Yes. Okay, from Leslie, 5 stars. I am obsessed with this series and love this new addition to the story. It was interesting, funny, emotional, intense, and brutal, and I loved every second of it. We learned so much more about this world and the war that is raging. So many revelations about Violet's father and her past. There was so much character development in the humans, and we got to learn a lot more about the dragons in this one, too, which I really loved. And Darna is amazing in this one. I adore her attitude, her stubbornness, snark, and bravery. This book is going to stick with me for a while, and I absolutely cannot wait for the next 2.
Agreed.
And for 1 star, so only 1% was 1 star, but that was 3,500 1-star reviews.
Wow.
um, someone just said, she is so brave for publishing this. Garbage.
I like garbage. One man's trash and another man's trash.
Someone 1 starred it and said, sending hate from Ohio.
No, read it
But
again.
all for banning books if this is the only one. I wouldn't wish this atrocity on my worst enemy. It genuinely makes me want to never pick up another book again.
Dang. Wow.
These are
Well,
some harsh feelings.
I'm sad that you guys feel that way because I loved it. I loved, loved, loved it. I can't wait to reread it. I have to read for the podcast. Otherwise, I would be rereading it right now. And I can't wait. The dramatized version comes out April, I think. I will be listening to it. I looked it up last night. I was like, when is it coming? And why is it already not out? Because you had plenty of time to get it recorded. Okay, I hate to put this to bed, but I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, our next book is after this one actually, The Secret History of the Rape Kit, a true crime story, which you've already read.
I've already read and it was a great one.
Yeah, it's by Pagan Kennedy. I have
Yes.
not, but I have it on Libro. So looking forward to that. And yeah, I think that was a lot. This is a long episode, but whatever. We had a lot to talk about. So yeah, if you're not already, make sure you're following us on all the socials, and we will talk to you guys next time.